Have you ever felt like your life is being controlled by something you can't even name? Like your reactions, your fears, your pain are on autopilot? Have you ever wished you could become untouchable? So strong, up the sun, that no one could hurt you again. No heartbreak, no betrayal, no disappointment. Just peace, just silence. It sounds beautiful, doesn't it? But here's the truth. Wanting to be untouchable doesn't mean you're strong. It means you're exhausted, tired of giving too much, tired of being there for people who wouldn't do the same, tired of pretending you're fine when inside you're falling apart. And I get it. We've all been there. But here's what no one tells you. Your strength doesn't lie in becoming numb. Your real strength lies in the courage to feel, in the ability to sit with your pain and not run. Carl Jung once said, "We are not what happens to us, but what we choose to become." You don't have to be untouchable. You just have to be whole. But sometimes in trying to protect ourselves, we build identities that were never meant to last. And without even realizing it, survival becomes who we are. Sometimes the things we call habits are really just survival skills we never learned to let go of. Maybe you learned to keep people at a distance because getting close used to mean getting hurt. Maybe you became a perfectionist because you were punished for making mistakes. Maybe you stopped asking for help because nobody came when you needed them most. These patterns kept you safe for a while, but now they keep you stuck. You're not addicted to pain. You're addicted to what you had to become. To avoid pain, you became the strong one, the independent one, the one who never needs anything from anyone. But deep down, you're tired. Healing starts when you realize survival isn't the goal anymore. You're not here just to survive. You're here to live. And that means unlearning the armor that once saved you, so you can finally feel safe without it. But even when we put the armor down, the pain doesn't just disappear. Because what we often call the problem is really just a symptom of something deeper. We often think our pain comes from the addiction itself, from the alcohol, the pills, the binge eating, the endless scrolling. But the truth is, these things were never the real problem. They were the response, a desperate attempt to soothe something much deeper. Behind every addiction, there is pain. But behind that pain is unmet need, a need for love, for connection, for safety, for someone to say, "I see you, I hear you, you matter." But when we didn't get that, we learned to numb, to hide, to cope. Not because we're weak, but because we're human. Our addictions were our survival. Our coping mechanisms were actually brilliant adaptations. They were the best we could do with what we had. So let's stop asking, "What's wrong with me?" and instead ask, "What happened to me?" Healing is not a final destination. It's not some perfect version of yourself waiting at the finish line. True healing is messy, unpredictable. Some days you'll feel light and open. Other days, the weight of your past will pull you under. But healing is not about never hurting again. It's about learning how to stay with yourself through the hurt. I used to think healing meant becoming stronger, tougher. But now I know healing is becoming softer. Softer with my pain, softer with my story, softer with myself. You stop trying to fix yourself. You start listening, holding, forgiving. Forgiving the you who didn't know better. Forgiving the mistakes made in survival. True healing isn't loud or dramatic. It's quiet, subtle, sometimes invisible to others. It looks like setting boundaries without guilt, saying no without explaining yourself, letting go of toxic people, even when it hurts, eating, sleeping, laughing again, writing that letter you never send, crying without apology, asking for help, letting someone love you, truly, and yes, falling apart again. But this time, knowing you won't abandon yourself. That is what healing looks like. And no matter where you are on that path, you are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming whole, slowly, gently, in your own time, and that is more than enough. But true wholeness isn't just about healing the pain you can see, it's about awakening to the pain you've buried, the parts of you that still live in the dark, shaping your life without you even knowing. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Beneath the surface of our daily emotions lies a deeper truth, one we often avoid, the parts of ourselves we've pushed away, ignored, or buried. Our anger, sadness, or fear don't appear out of nowhere. They are messages from within, echoes of wounds that were never given the chance to heal. And the more we run from them, the more they show up, disguised as self-sabotage, toxic relationships, or unexplained anxiety. Awakening doesn't mean escaping pain. It means being brave enough to meet it, to sit with it, to listen. Transformation begins the moment we stop running and start looking inward, with honesty, with compassion. Because when we bring light to the unconscious, we don't just change our thoughts, we reclaim our lives. But even after awakening, there's still a choice to be made. Do we keep running from what hurts? Or do we dare to sit with it and finally integrate what we've spent a lifetime avoiding? Most people think the way to avoid pain is by shutting down, emotionally distancing themselves, building walls, putting on a mask of strength. But in truth, the more you avoid pain, the more it rules you. Avoidance is like putting a bandage on a deep wound without cleaning it. On the surface, you might seem fine, but underneath, the infection spreads. Integration, on the other hand, asks you to face what hurts, to not run, but to sit with your discomfort, to listen to what your sadness, your anger, your fear are trying to tell you. Carl Jung said, "We cannot change anything until we accept it." That means you can't truly heal what you're still running from. Let's be honest, pain is a teacher. It shows you where you're still bleeding. Integration is the act of welcoming that pain, not because you enjoy it, but because you understand it has something to teach you. Personally, I've learned that the more I tried to avoid my feelings by staying busy, being overly productive, or pretending to be unaffected, the more exhausted and disconnected I became. True strength is not cold detachment. It's knowing that pain is part of the human experience and allowing yourself to feel it without judgment. When you integrate your emotions, they stop ruling you. You begin to respond instead of react. You stop living in survival mode and begin to live with presence. Integration is not a one-time event. It is a continuous practice of returning to yourself again and again with kindness, honesty, and curiosity. This is how you become whole. This is how you stop being tossed around by life and start walking through it with grounded clarity. But to truly live with clarity, you need more than healing. You need awareness. Because without consciousness, even healing can become another pattern. And you may not even realize that your life is still being led by old wounds. Imagine going through life constantly reacting, on autopilot, letting your wounds drive your choices. That's not living. That's surviving. The truth is, you are not in control when you're unconscious. And yet, awareness isn't a lightning bolt from the sky. It's a discipline, a daily devotion. Jung once said, "What you resist persists. What you accept transforms. The things you push away will haunt you, but the things you accept, you can heal." Consciousness is not about perfection, it's about presence. It's catching yourself in the moment before you react. It's asking, why am I feeling this way? What part of me is still afraid? Emotional immunity doesn't mean nothing affects you. It means you understand yourself so deeply, nothing can control you. You are no longer triggered, you are aware. And when you live from this place of integration and consciousness, the world loses its power over you. You're not reacting to life, you're creating it. That is true freedom, not the absence of pain, but the presence of clarity. Not control over everything, but choice over how you respond. So choose awareness, choose honesty, choose presence. That is your shield. That is your return to power. You don't need to fight the darkness. Just bring in the light. When you dare to face what's hidden, you don't just change your thoughts. You reclaim your power. You come home to yourself. If this message touched something in you, take a breath, leave a comment, or just sit with yourself for a moment. If you're ready to begin your own journey inward, start here, one breath at a time. Thank you for staying with me until the end of this video. If you found it helpful, please share it with someone you know who might need to hear this. You never know how much it could mean to them. And if you'd like to join me on future journeys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of the upcoming content. Goodbye for now, and I'll see you in the next video.